I don't even remember me watching a full half of a NBA Summer League game prior to last night. I also have never been this excited and hyped to watch a NBA Summer League game, and you know why. It was because we had Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, the number 1 and number 2 overall picks, and if you think there wasn't some bad blood and a chip on each player's shoulder, you were wrong. I can't speak for you, but the reason this was a thrilling matchup to me is because Jalen Green was taking it personal. He has made it very clear and evident that he is still mad and salty about not going number 1. If you don't want to take my word for it, listen to what he had to say. Quote unquote, "I'm sorry for y'all, cause I'm gonna keep working. Every time I step on that floor, Detroit especially, I'm coming." That was a message that he sent to the entire NBA, and especially, like he said, Detroit. If you think this game meant nothing at all because it's a Summer League game, you couldn't be any more wrong because, of course, we had Jalen taking it serious, but so was Cade Cunningham. Cade's been hearing the critics after his first game, and he also wants to prove to Jalen that, no, you're wrong. You shouldn't have been the number 1 pick. I should. To say Jalen was taking this game personal may even be an understatement because he had a ton of family members in attendance for this one game. I'm going to break this game down quarter by quarter. In the first quarter, both players had a slow start. They weren't shooting bad, but they weren't shooting that much. Jalen had 4 points and he didn't even hit a single shot because he was 0 for 1 from the field. Cunningham started out a little rough. He had a couple of turnovers and he wasn't shooting that good in the first quarter, but he would pick it up. He was showing though he is not scared to let it fly because he'd catch the ball sometimes and shoot it up even when he's contested and make it. I thought the first half was pretty even. Jalen Green was more efficient, and I believe going into halftime he was only 2 for 5 from the field, but he was getting all of his points from the free throw line. I want you to let this sink in. Jalen Green only made 6 shots but scored 25 points. To score 25 points and do it on only making 6 shots, that's ridiculous. From the overall field, he was 6 for 11, and on 3-pointers, we'll touch on in just a second, he was 3 for 5. He could have easily been 4 for 5 on threes because he had one that went in and out, and his 3-pointers, they weren't like Cade's. Most of Cade's were wide open or relatively wide open. The 3-pointers that Jalen Green was hitting just showed you how great he is and how good he's going to be. He was shooting long threes, contested threes, and draining them like it was nothing. Green looked like the most confident shooter on the entire court last night, and that was easy to see. The only thing I was really disappointed in Jalen Green was the fact that he didn't really go off because when he was coming off of screens that they used a lot, they would blitz him and double team him, so he had to pass it because he's never seen that before. I would like to see Jalen shoot more shots, but this was also a good sign because it showed that he's not going to force things when it's not going his way, and he's going to let his teammates do their thing. As far as a team basketball game, the Detroit Pistons, they were no match for the Rockets. The Rockets had so many players go off. It was crazy. 2 players that I got to give love to are Josh Christopher, and the center's name, I don't know how to say it, but his last name is Sengun. It's Sengun, something like that. I'm just going to call him Sengun. Of course, the story of the game was Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, but in my opinion, the best player of the game and the MVP was Sengun because that dude cannot be stopped. He was such a valuable presence on the court offensively and defensively. He dropped 21 points, had 8 rebounds, and was 8 for 14 from the field. I know Jalen scored more, but he did most of that damage at the free throw line. Man, Josh Christopher, though, he looked really good out there. He finished 6 for 12 from the field, had 15 points, but my favorite play of the night is when he was on a one-on-one matchup with Cunningham, and he straight up ripped him, and that shows how good of a defender he is, and I've been praising him for his defensive ability, so I was glad to see that. It's only been 2 Summer League games, so I don't want to get too hyped up and antsy about this, but the Rockets general managers, they got to be smiling because all their draft picks, they are playing phenomenal. In the second half of this game, this is when Jalen also hit 2 of his threes, and it was pretty much wraps in the fourth quarter. If you had to ask me and I had to say who played better and who got the W in this matchup, I would say Jalen Green for this reason right here. Obviously, you can look at his points and say, well, he outscored Cade, so he probably played better on the offensive end. Here's the thing with Cade and what I've noticed so far. He doesn't look uncomfortable or bad in the offense for the Pistons right now, but it's almost like he seems like he can't get in a groove. Like with Jalen Green, we saw for instances last night, he can hit 2 in a row, and you can tell and feel that he's about to take a heat check or he may take over. I haven't seen that with Cade yet. For Cunningham, he'll make a shot, then he'll miss 2 more. I didn't feel like he had a bad offensive game. I felt like he couldn't get in a groove. He finished 8 for 18 from the overall field and 4 for 9 on threes. I definitely feel like Jalen had the upper hand in this matchup. If you want to look at the numbers, Cunningham shot 18 shots and only scored 20 points, and Jalen Green, he only shot 11 shots and dropped 25. So that is way more efficient. But Jalen was also getting a ton of help from his teammates like Sengun, Christopher, and also Kenyon Martin Jr. My favorite play of the night is when it was late in the fourth quarter and they swung the ball over to Jalen Green. Cade Cunningham closed down, but Green still pulled it and splashed it in his face, and he yelled at him, so you could feel the animosity. Both players played good. Jalen didn't shoot that much. Somehow he still dropped a quiet 25 piece, which is crazy to even think about. That's why, hands down to me, Jalen was the best player in the NBA draft because his potential is through the roof. What about Luka Garza though? That big man, he really shocked me. He was a late second round pick. Nobody expects him to do that much. And all he does last night is go out there and drop 15 points and go 5 for 6 from the field. I don't know if I'll be able to find the clip and throw it up on the screen, but there was a time, I can't remember if it was in the first or second half, where he hit one of the cleanest turnaround one-leg fadeaways, and that was unreal. All in all, though, this game, it definitely meant something. Both players wanted to prove people wrong, and they wanted to prove themselves right. I've seen people say stuff like, oh, Cade versus Jalen, this is going to be a rivalry game that we're going to see for years to come. Going off of what I saw last night, I would say that's a fair statement because there was no smiling and cracking jokes between these two guys. They were coming for a win and coming for blood. And oh yeah, also too, why I'm giving Jalen the upper hand on the matchup is because his team won by 20 points. At the end of the day, a team win's gotta mean something. Jalen was more efficient, he played better on offense, and his team got the dub, so that's why he gets the W in my book for the one-on-one matchup. Not too much more to say. It was a cool game to watch. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, wait on. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.